We may be getting a verdict today in the court-martial of a Navy SEAL. We've been watching this case for you. Petty Officer Matthew McCabe on trial for punching an alleged terrorist in custody. Two other SEALs were found not guilty. Steve Centani will be here with more on what's being said in court.
There could be a verdict today in the trial of a Navy SEAL. Petty Officer Second Class Matthew McCabe, accused of punching a suspected terrorist while that man was in U.S. custody in Iraq. The suspect in custody because he was accused of masterminding the vicious murders of 4 American contractors in Fallujah. Those men were killed, their bodies burned and dragged through the streets, 2 of them hanged from a bridge. Steve Centani is covering the trial for us from Norfolk Naval Air Station. Is testimony all wrapped up now, Steve?
Well, John, no. As a matter of fact, not. We've had 4 witnesses today. The defense has rested its case, but the prosecution wants to come back with rebuttals, so they'll do that today. We don't know how long that'll take. Then we'll have the closing arguments, then deliberations by the jury, and then a verdict. So I expect a verdict won't come today, although I suppose it is still possible. Things are a little bit slower than expected inside the courtroom with those witnesses today. One of them testified from Iraq, and he's Julio Huertas, one of the Navy SEALs who was acquitted last month in this very same case. He was found not guilty of any wrongdoing in connection with the arrest of Hashim Abed, the alleged terrorist, who says he was beaten up at the hands of these Navy SEAls. So he testified from Iraq that he and the other 2 Navy SEAls were actually in the detention cell that evening for a short time. They had come by to check on the master-at-arms who was in charge of holding the suspect, the prisoner, at that time, to see if Kevin DiMartino needed anything. Now, Kevin DiMartino was the key witness yesterday for the prosecution. He claims that at one point he did witness Matthew McCabe punching Abed, the alleged terrorist, in the stomach, and that's where these assault charges stem from. John?
So which side called Huertas for his testimony? Was he called by the defense or the prosecution?
He was called by the defense because he tells a very different story about what happened that night. The 3 of them were there at the Connex box, which is the small holding cell where Abed was being held. He says they were there, but he says there was no assault. And, of course, that is contradictory to the prosecution's key witness, Kevin DiMartino, who claims there was indeed an assault and that he saw it. But the defense yesterday put on a whole string of witnesses to try to discredit that testimony by DiMartino.
And, Steve,
so things continuing here in Norfolk, Virginia. John?
Very quickly, what kind of punishment is McCabe facing?
Well, he could get, if he's found guilty, he could get a year in the brig, and he could have a dishonorable discharge and have his pay and his rank reduced. But that's going to be entirely up to this 7-person jury if he's found guilty.
All right. Steve Centani in Norfolk. Thank you.